everybody, it's Terra with Barre. So today, if you want to rock the bar with me, obviously you did because you clicked on the video, right? So all you're gonna need today with me is a chair or something that you can hold on to for balance, maybe a mat, towel, or blanket that you can use when we go to the floor to work on our abs. And if you would like, maybe a lightweight, like a 3, 5, maybe 1 pound weight to play around with, or you don't need weights at all if you don't want them. So we'll go ahead and get started working through our kinetic chain. So if you are new to a bar class with me, we like to start with our feet and work all the way up to the head, quick, rolling through those feet. We're gonna think about those 4 points at the bottoms of our feet. So either side of the ball of the feet, either side of the heels, 4 points, making sure weight is equally distributed over those 4 points. From here, ankles are over feet, knees are over ankle. We're gonna use a little bit of activation in our quads to lift those kneecaps up just slightly, so nothing super intense, but that helps to really activate and align your knees to make sure that we are working them safely. So that doesn't mean that we're pressing those knees backwards. We don't want any hyperextension here. So the knees are gonna stay kind of nice and kind of active over those ankles. Working our way up to our hips. We want those hips in a nice neutral position. So that means we're not popping our duck booty back. We're also not crunching our hips forward, into a weird kind of uncomfortable position. So that's gonna stay nice and neutral. One way to make sure you're doing that is making sure that your belly button is pressed into spine. So abs are gonna be engaged, really supporting that spine. From here, moving up to chest, making sure that our chest isn't popping forward or rounding back. To do that, we're gonna roll those shoulders up by the ears and down the back. One more time for a good measure because it feels good. So making sure that everything is, again, nice and in line. From here, chin is going to lift slightly, so we don't want that chin dropped. We also don't want to be looking up. So everything's gonna be pointing forward here. And if it helps, you can think about a string at the top of your head lifting you up from the ceiling. So everything's nice and aligned. So kind of wiggle out of alignment and then slowly work from feet all the way up and feel yourself in alignment. One way to test if you are in proper alignment is if you close your eyes. I can let everything kind of relax a little bit, and if you are staying in that one position and your body, your skeleton is in alignment, you feel yourself kind of floating forward or back or a little bit side to side, then something may be a little bit out of whack. And a lot of times, where our weight is distributed on our feet really plays a key role in pain or kind of tension in your other joints. So a lot of us suffer from really strange joint pain type stuff. And a big piece of that is because of where our alignment is off. If you think about your body like a whole bunch of rubber bands, they're all connected. So even just kind of rolling out on your ankles a little bit while you're standing can have a major impact, not just on, the next one up or the next joint in your kinetic chain, like ankles and knees, but you can also have back pain, from just that tiny little movement. So this gives us an opportunity to really check in with yourself, check in with your alignment. If everything is properly aligned, your skeleton, with all the muscles and ligaments taken away, would stay standing if everything is in proper alignment. And so that's why if you close your eyes for a moment, once you kind of worked up your kinetic chain, and try to relax your muscles and ligaments and see if it's easy to stay standing in that position. If not, rework your kinetic chain, shake it all out, and do it again. I know if you could stand there probably for hours trying to practice just standing, but that would be, well, for one, exhausting, and for two, you'd be like, I stood for a couple of hours just working on alignment. I wanted a bar class. Well, let's go ahead and start warming up your body. I really, really love kind of working on that alignment. It's a really important piece of bar to begin with, because when we're working through our bar exercises, we do a lot of tiny little movements to build strength and stability in our joints. To do that, you want to make sure that you are in proper alignment, so that way we can help to train our bodies to stay in proper alignment. So from here, we're going to take a little demi-plie, bending that knee or knees over our toes, making sure that everything is in track here. Good. So the reason that we want to make sure that or work on retraining our alignment here is that a lot of us stay down here, and we're going to lift one heel and then the other, working through those feet. A lot of us spend large portions of our day sitting or kind of practicing bad alignment, when we're sitting at a desk or, in a couch. A lot of our furniture these days is made for comfort, but comfort doesn't necessarily mean that it's the best thing for our bodies. So we're going to stay down here, heels to the ground, and straighten back up. A couple more little demi-plies here. Good. 2. Stay down here. We're going to pulse here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, reach those fingertips up. And we're going to turn our toes out. So in our turned out position, heels are going to be touching, toes are reaching out kind of to your 4 corners of the wall. Thinking that it's straight side to side. It's kind of an illusion, but also our hips are like a big bowl. And so we want to honor our proper alignment here. So the way that you can do that is check in with your hips. Are your hips in that neutral position? And then bend your knees out over those toes. If you can maintain that neutral position in your hips while bending the knees out over toes in this turned out position, then you are in a great turned out position. If you feel like your knees are kind of buckling inward, I want you to just wiggle those toes inward just a little bit more, then double check. Does this all feel like it's in proper alignment? If so, you're in great alignment. So making sure that you are working in your turned out position. It all comes from the hips, so those femur bones are rotating outward in your hip socket. So it's not your heels, it's not your knees. I want to make sure that those hips are supporting that turnout. Good. So from here, we're going to stay down here, lift one heel, and then the other. Good. Lifting one heel, and then the other. Just kind of working through those feet, rolling through all of the little tiny bones and muscles in your feet. Kind of getting an equal parts warm up and stretch. Good. Last one. We're going to lower those heels, straighten up, and lower those knees and straighten up. Good. We're going to stay down here and pulse for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, reach those arms up. Good. Bringing those arms out to the side. We're going to drop one arm. Take a nice big side body stretch. And lifting up and switching over. This should feel nice and good. We're going to do this a couple times, both sides, just to make sure that we are warming up while stretching. It just feels lovely. Good. So from here, we're going to point our toe out to the side and close. This is our little tendu exercise here, but we're really just warming things up. So I'm going to leave my arms out to the sides. Not really anything super crazy going on here. We're just pointing our toes, going side to side. Now, we want to keep our belly button pressed to the spine. Again, string is lifting up to the top of the head. We're just pointing those toes, and switching side to side. Now, if we were really, really serious about our ballet game here, we would be trying not to shift our weight a whole lot, switching side to side. But, there is no such thing as perfection, and we're just trying to warm ourselves up, right? Good. So here we're going to point. We're going to press onto the ball of the foot and bend that knee just slightly so it goes out over the ankle. And point, and then close. So we're going to point our toe out, lower to the ball of the foot, bend the knee out over the ankle, come back to that point, and close. So we're going to point, ball, knee, point, and close. Point, ball, knee, point, and close. We're going to go through this a little bit. You can kind of turn that tendu into a dégagé if you want. Dégagé just means to disengage or free the foot. So it just pops up or slides out there a little bit. This is just kind kind of a fun little exercise to warm us up. Good. And sweep those arms up into the side and lift into the side and lift. One more and lift. Good. So from here, we're going to weave those fingers together, press forward, round through the shoulders. And maybe your back is a little crunchy like mine, lifting up and shaking it all out. So we're going to go to our bar, aka chair, and keeping that turned out position, we're going to hold on to our chair with one hand. If you need a little bit more support, you can hold on to your bar or chair with both hands and face the other way. I'm going to try to face you for most of the class today anyway. So I'm going to utilize the chair on one side. That means I'm going to bring my arm out to the side on the other side to work on my balance, but also to get a little bit shoulder excitement here. So to get started, actually, I lied. We're going to start with those feet in a parallel position. So to get started here, we're going to bend those knees out over toes. We're going to lift our heels up off of the mat. We're going to straighten our knees and lower the heels. So from the side, if you needed the extra support here from the chair too, you're going to bend, lift, straighten, and lower. So you're bending knees, lift heels, straighten the knees, and lower. Bend, lift, straighten, lower. Good. So we bend, lift, straighten, lower. Keep that going nice and smooth. Here we go. Beautiful job. So you can keep at this pace, this nice slow rhythm, or you can pick it up a little bit and bend, lift, straighten, lower, bend, lift, straighten, lower, bend, lift, straighten, lower, or maybe try not to stop the movement. So from the side, you're going whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Sound effects are totally necessary. So here, we're working tiny little movement here. Nice. Not allowing anything from the waist up to move. And we're going to lift those heels, keep those knees bent, and you're going to pulse here, dropping those hips just an inch or two. So from the side, pulsing here. Good. Going for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to straighten those knees up, lower those heels, and stretch it out wherever you are feeling tight. So for me, that is definitely in my quads. Ooh, stop. Turning those heels out. Remember, turned out position. Belly button's tucked into spine. Hips are in a nice neutral position. Arm out. Standing up nice and tall. We're going to do that same move. Bend, lift, straighten, lower. Bend, lift, straighten, lower. Bend, lift, straighten, lower. Bend, lift, straighten, lower. So you can keep this rhythm if you like, or you can try to speed it up. Bend, lift, straighten, lower. Bend, lift, straighten, lower. Bend, lift, straighten, lower. Bend, lift, straighten, or try not to stop the movement. I call this one jelly legs. So it looks kind of like your jellyfish, right? Maybe a little. 2, last 1. We're going to stay here with those heels lifted, knees bent, and we're going to pulse for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. I know they're burning. 2, 1. Straighten those knees, lower those heels, step it out, stretch it out wherever you need it. I say that because a lot of us feel this in different ways, depending on what we do for other types of exercise. So some people feel that more in their calves, some people feel it more in their quads, some in their hips, some in their feet. It's up to you, stretch it out. So, feeling good, feeling warm. If we want to add a little extra, you can grab one weight for your kind of outside working arm. We're going to utilize our bar on the other side. If you want an extreme challenge, you can try it without the bar and 2 weights on either side. However, I highly recommend utilizing your bar for support. So like I said, extreme would be, just going for both hands there. I'm not feeling extreme today. I love having my bar here, and so I'm going to roll with that. All right, so we're taking our weight or just our arm out to the side. It's up to you. And we're going to make sure that that elbow stays slightly bent. So if you look at it from the top here, I'm making kind of more of a C with my arm and having it totally straight out. So it's slightly bent and it's lifted. This helps to make sure that we're working our shoulder and our lats. A lot of all of this needs to be working right now. We're not kind of doing bicep curls at this point. We will in a little bit, but we want to work those shoulders because, you gotta have those nice pretty shoulders for alignment. We also want to make sure that those elbows are slightly bent so that way you're not putting a lot of extra pressure on that joint. So now that we've stood here and talked while holding this weight out there to the side, we're gonna point our toe forward. So again, everything that's standing is staying nice and tall. Pointing that toe forward, you're gonna lift a couple inches off the ground and you're gonna tap the toe on the ground. So you're just doing a tiny little move here, kind of lifting a couple inches and lowering to tap. Going for 10 more. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're gonna lift that knee up and then lower and tap again. So lift the knee up and tap, up and tap. Beautiful. Going for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're gonna hold that knee up here and pulse it here. Going for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're gonna set our weight down. I like to set it on my chair because it's easier to grab onto. And we're going to hold on to that foot behind us, coming into a nice quad stretch here, but it also stretches through that shoulder. So press into that back foot, stretching shoulder. Maybe kick out a little bit for a little bit of a dancer's pose position. Stretching through the leg that was just working, but also your arm. I do enjoy efficiency. So pulling that leg back, shaking it all out. If you would like to grab your weight again, I know my arms are already burning, but we're gonna keep it up because we like challenges. So feet in that nice turned out position. So we're gonna bring the arm to a half goalpost. So holding that weight directly over elbow, we're gonna look down at our big toe on our outside foot. You're going to draw a line out to where that big toe is pointing. From here, we're gonna lift the toes up off of the mat just a couple inches, and you're going to tap the toes here. Excellent. Going for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're gonna tap and lift that knee up. Good. If you want a little extra, you can lift at the same time. It's kind of more of a mind thing than anything else. Going for 2 more. Last one. And you're gonna pulse here. Maybe pulse here. Going for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're not done yet. You're gonna pull that knee in and out. Arm comes back out to the side. Going for 5, like you're drawing little figure 8s with your toes on the ground. 2, last one. We're gonna cross that ankle over our leg. Kind of leaning forward, nice big figure 4 stretch standing. From here, you're gonna reach back with that weight, making sure that palm is facing behind you. And we're going to keep elbow lifted and press up here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, sink a little deeper, 5, 4, 3, sink a little deeper, 2, last one, and pulse here for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come on up, shake it all out. Oh, I know my shoulders are burning. It's all right, it's good for us, right? Yes, it is. I don't know why I keep winking at you, but I do, and that's the thing that we're doing today, apparently. So we're gonna pull that weight up to the side here, other side, sitting up nice and tall, check in with your chain. We're gonna point our outside toes forward, lifting up just a couple inches, and tap here. Beautifully done. Here we go, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're gonna tap and lift that knee up. Nice, going for 10 more. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, belly button in. Last one, stay here, we're gonna pulse. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Set our weight down, grab that foot, stretch it out. It always seems to go faster on the other side. Probably because I'm not standing there holding the weight and talking about it. Just saying. If you want that little extra, you can kick that foot out just a little bit. Again, making sure that you're in alignment. So I kind of turned to the side a little to show you this, but proper alignment, you want that right behind you. Beautiful. Coming on up, bringing heels together, toes turning out, grabbing your weight, coming up to that goal post here. Weight stays right over elbow. Gonna look down at that outside big toe, draw a line out to where it's pointing, lift up just a couple inches off the mat, and tap here. Good, going for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're gonna tap and lift the knee up here. Good, if you want that arm for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. My bar is moving. Stay here and pulse for 8. Well, no, I got 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Don't let me get lazy here. We're gonna reach that knee in and out, drawing a little figure 8. Good. Going for 3, 2, last one. Crossing that ankle over our leg, making sure that those hips are sinking straight back. We'll reach that arm back behind us here, and little tricep press. Good. 8 more. 7, 6, 5, sink deeper. 4, 3, sink deeper. 2, last one, stay here, pulse it here for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come on up. Shake it all out. You're gonna bring those legs wide. And just kind of rock a little side to side with those hips while stretching out your shoulders. Reaching up and over. I'm very crackly today. Crack-a-lack-a-lacka. It's always fun. Good. So it's important after we work our muscles to make sure that we take the time to give them a quick little stretch. This is important because the style of work that we're doing. So we're doing tiny little moves, tiny little pulses, right? Building up strength, and we want to stretch it out so you get stretch, or you get strength and flexibility. Two very important things. So working our back sides, our posteriors here. I like to set a weight in front of me because it's kind of fun that way. And, you know, then you don't have to get up and stop your movement. However, if you don't want to use a weight, you don't have to. And, you know, if you want to stop your movement and get up and use a weight, by all means, press pause. It's a video. You can do that. You can also come back and do it again. So from here, we're going to face our bar. Feet are going to be in a nice parallel position, and we are going to point our right toes back behind us. Lifting up here, you're going to take a little tap, same move that we were doing on the other side. So just tapping the toe on the ground. So it's a tiny little move here. We're focusing on those glutes. Going for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're gonna lift those toes a little bit further. We're gonna draw little circles with our toes. And then we're gonna reverse those circles at your own pace, whatever feels good. You want your hip bones facing forward. Excellent. So we're gonna lift a little bit higher here, and you're gonna rotate back, crossing behind you. And then lifting up and around to the outside edge. So if you have a mat, kind of drawing a big arc up and over your mat. Good. Again, trying to make sure that those hip bones are pointing forward. Make sure you're breathing. Last little set here. And point those toes straight back behind you, lifting up. Our goal here is a nice straight line from the top of our head to the tip of our toes. This is where if you would like to reach down and grab that weight, you can. So here we are. We're gonna hold here. If you have your weight, or if you don't, we're going to flip our palm forward and do a little bicep curl as we are hanging out here. Good, going for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to extend that weight forward, coming into, in yoga, what would be like a half moon, but you're getting to hold on to a chair here. So we're going to bring that elbow in toward our body, press up for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you would like an extra challenge, you can curl that weight into your knee cavity. However, if you don't have a weight, it's totally fine. You're not going to miss out on a whole lot. We're going to flex that heel, reaching heel in toward our booty, making sure that hips are pointing down. And we're going to pulse that heel up toward the ceiling. So the reason that I kind of like using the weight there is that a lot of times we'll kind of see people doing a lot of movement here. If you're really focused on squeezing something between your, in that joint in the back there, then you're focused more on that tiny little movement and less on adding a whole bunch of extra movement to this move. Good. Going for 3, 2, 1. If you've got that weight there, squeeze it tighter. Pull that knee out to the side. A little awkward fire hydrant here. We're doing this for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Last one. Pull that weight out. No dropping weights on our toes. That's never fun. So from here, if you've got a chair or something that you can reach that foot up and rest it on to stretch, go for it. You can flip your chair and use the seat if you want a little bit less of an intense stretch here. So staying up nice and tall, we're going to reach those arms up overhead. Take a deep breath in, and we're going to exhale, reaching out over that leg, trying to keep our spine as straight as we can as we do this. That allows us to get a nice deep stretch in our lower back as well as in your legs. Because if you just kind of round over, then we get a nice stretch in our upper back. But right now, I want you focused kind of on this area. Good. So from here, our right leg is on the back of our chair or our bar, whatever we're working with. We're going to reach the right arm back, taking a nice big twist over that leg. Nice. And bringing the right hand back to the leg or the bar. We're going to turn away, kind of opening up our hips just a little bit, reaching left arm up and over. We're going to take a nice big stretch out over that leg. Good. Your arm turn to the side. So you stay there. I'm just gonna flip so you can see it from the opposite direction. I don't have my back to you because that's no fun, right? So here we are in this nice big stretch together, coming on up from the side. Here's your challenge of the day. Try to lift that leg up and slowly float it down to the mat. Shake it all out. Make sure that your chair is in a position to where you can still see me if you need to. Otherwise, just doing the other side, you know what you're doing. So setting our weight where it's handy dandy, we're going to make sure that those feet are in a parallel position facing our bar. We're going to point the left toes back, lifting up a couple inches off of the mat, and we're going to tap here. Good, tapping for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lifting just a little bit higher. We're going to draw some circles outward with those toes. Nice small little movement. Excellent. And reverse those circles inward. With our tiny little movement, we're just working in those hips. 2 and 1. Bring up just a little bit higher. We're going to cross back behind us and then open up that big arc, like we're drawing a rainbow with our toes. Good. Again, keeping those hips as still as you can from side to side. And last little set here. And we're pointing those toes back behind you, lifting up, trying to go for that nice flat back. So maybe pushing chair out so it's not necessarily in your way. And reach down, grab that weight. We're going to flip palms forward. Full bicep curl here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and last one. We're going to open those hips up, bringing it elbow into whatever that is, your diaphragm, torso. Press it up. I can't think anymore. 9, 8, 7. Don't let that leg drop. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Woof. We're going to maybe put that weight there in your knee cavity or set it down. We're going to flip back forward. Heel lifts toward that ceiling. You're going to pulse here. Tiny little move. Going for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Squeeze it nice and tight. Pull it out to the side. Awkward fire hydrant. Lifting here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Last one. We're going to pull that weight out. Set it on down. No throwing weights around. Good. Standing up nice and tall. Remember, you can turn your chair around if you want. You can use a bed. You can even do the stretch on the floor. So wherever you are, you're going to reach up and extend over your leg. Taking a breath here. Again, trying to keep your spine as straight as you can. It doesn't have to be perfectly straight. Mine's not. But I'm also not trying to round all the way through because I want to get as much of a stretch here in my low back and my leg as possible. Good. Taking another breath. And so our left leg is the one stretching right now. So we're going to reach our left hand back behind us, taking a nice big twist. Making sure to breathe. And we're going to reverse, reaching right or left hand toward our leg or bar. We're going to open up those hips, reaching right hand up and over, taking a nice big side body stretch over that leg. You stayed there. I'm going to flip so I can face you. Because I missed you. Turning the opposite direction. It's no fun. So hanging out here in this big stretch and coming on up. And our challenge of the day, nice and tall and straight through our kinetic chain. We're gonna try to lift that leg up off of the bar and slowly float it down toward our mat. Good, shaking it all out. We're gonna move that chair off to the side unless you still need it. And I will explain myself in just a moment. So clearing off our mat area or space. From here, we're gonna open those legs nice and wide, toes turned out. We're gonna reach those arms up as we inhale, and as we exhale, we're going to sink down into a yoga squat. So here in this yoga squat or malasana, our goal here is to press with those elbows against the insides of the thighs to open those hips up. So when I said, if you need the chair, my knees are crunchy. If you need the chair, you can sit in a chair or stay here in this squat and open those hips up. So if you're not quite comfortable getting down into a yoga squat, then modify. There is nothing wrong with modifications. In fact, they are fantastic ways to slowly work up to a bigger move. This is pretty challenging for a lot of people to do, myself included. It takes a lot of practice to get down here. So here we are, stretching through our yoga squat, hanging here just for one more moment. I know, you don't like me right now, it's okay. We're gonna slowly come to a fully seated position. We're gonna bring the bottoms of the feet together, holding on to ankles or shins, and maybe use those elbows to press your legs open in a butterfly position. Breathing here. You're gonna sit up nice and tall. You're gonna reach those arms out to the side if you can. Otherwise, hold on, and that's where you go. But if you want a little more, you can reach those arms out to the side, maybe lean back just a smidge, and try to point those toes out in front of us. This is challenging in itself, but if you want a little bit more, you can lift one foot and then the other, doing what I like to call our butterfly marches, or march of the butterfly. Good, maybe just tapping and letting those legs kind of float. Really make sure that that belly button's pressed into the spine, shoulders are rolled down the back. Going for 4, 3, 2, 1, floating those toes together. You're gonna crunch those knees in toward your armpits. So if you're still here, you're gonna reach in. So it's kind of a reverse crunch. Going for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're gonna come back to that butterfly position and stretch it out. So continuing that conversation of keeping a spine straight versus kind of curved, maybe notice that there's a slightly different experience that you feel when you stretch in this position with a straight spine versus a curved spine. Maybe notice where your body feels this position more when you change or adjust the angle of your spine. So I'm going to do the next round from the side, just to show you what it looks like from the side, because, you know, why not? Exploration, yeah? So here we are in our butterfly position. We're going to sit up nice and tall. Maybe lean back a little bit as we extend those arms forward. Maybe pointing toes. Maybe lifting one leg and then the other. So that spine's gonna stay nice and straight. We're not curved here. Everything's nice and tall and straight. Maybe tapping. A little flutter by. Going for 3, 2, 1. We're gonna reach those toes together, whether it's on the mat or not, and pull knees into armpits or armpits toward knees. Going for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Smell those feet. I prefer not to because mine are dirty. Although they smell like garden, so I suppose I've got that going for me, which is nice. And coming on up to our seated position. I'm gonna reach those arms forward and roll through the spine all the way down nice and slow to our mat. From here, a little added fun to keep the heels lifted up so the toes are pointing So just like they would be if they were pointing in the air, but the toes are gonna stay on the mat. That gives you a little bit of rest while keeping the legs engaged. If you want the super extreme version, you can keep those legs up. However, again, I'm not super extreme. You don't have to be. You don't want to be, but you could if you really want to be. So from here, we're gonna reach those fingertips toward our knees, lifting shoulders and shoulder blades up off of the mat. We're gonna try to lift that chin up toward the ceiling. We're gonna pulse here for 10, 9, 8. If you need some extra support behind your head because your neck is bugging you, by all means, you don't have to not touch your head. 2, 1. We're gonna reach from one knee to the other, bring a little penguin fly position here. Going from side to side, really making sure that those abs are engaged. Going for 4, 3, 2. The last one. We're gonna pull those knees together and lowering heels on the mat. We're gonna reach those fingertips up overhead. Taking a deep breath here because it feels oh so good. Nice. We're gonna lift our toes up toward the ceiling and we're gonna turn out so just heels are touching. So staying there, just showing from the side, looks like this. So from here, you can rest your hands on your belly. You can rest your hands down next to your hips, or if you'd like a little more support, you can roll those hands or kind of tuck those hands underneath your tailbone for extra support underneath there. So from here, we're gonna tap the front of our ankle with our heel, doing this pretty little ballet beating motion. And from this position, we're slowly going to lower those toes down and up. Now, it's important to make sure that while you're doing this, you only go as low as you can control. So that belly is staying pressed against the mat. We're not popping that spine upward. So if you notice that your lower back is starting to lift off of the mat, then you do not need to go any lower than that. You need to stay there. Good. 2 more. Make sure you're breathing. And last one. And coming on up, give yourself a hug. That move is hard, but oh so very good for you. Good. We're gonna plant those feet down by your seat. And using your hands on the mat on either side for a little extra support. We're slowly gonna curl those hips upward into a nice little bridge position, just reversing some of that crunching motion, making sure that knees are staying out over our ankles, not rolling outward. Okay, and 1 vertebrae at a time, lowering those hips down toward the mat. We're gonna drop knees from side to side. Windshield wipering those legs. Good. And pointing knees up toward the ceiling 1 more time. Slowly roll those hips upward into a little bridge. If you would like, you can curl your shoulders underneath so you can make a big fist with your hands under your hips. Taking a moment to breathe here. And slowly release those fingertips, roll those shoulders out from underneath your back, and 1 vertebrae at a time, lowering those hips down toward the mat. And dropping knees from side to side, do the windshield wiper our legs. Beautifully done. Pointing those knees up toward the ceiling, we're gonna bring our right knee into our chest, lengthen left leg down the mat. Give that knee a good squeeze before pulling knee across the body. Reach right fingertips out to the side. I have a wall here, so I can't really extend my arm. You might want to try extending that arm out to the side. Taking a nice big twist through your whole body. From here, pull knee back into chest. And point toes up towards ceiling, reaching behind calf or thigh, and roll ankle inward and then outward. Now bend that knee in toward torso, flexing foot, reach up and grab whatever side feels comfortable for you of your foot. If it does feel comfortable at all, otherwise you can hold on to leg or, calf or whatever, earlobe. Hold on to what feels good to you. Speaking of what feels good to you, if it feels super good to you to try to straighten that leg, emphasis on the word if it feels good and try, because that's as straight as mine goes right now, feel free to do so. It's your stretch. Do what you want with it. And slowly pull that leg back into your chest. Bringing left leg up to meet. Giving yourself a nice little hug. Maybe rock a little side to side. And keep that left leg into your chest. Lengthen right leg down the mat. Give yourself a little squeeze here with that left leg. And pull left leg across. Taking a nice big twist in the opposite direction. Breathe here. Release tension. Relax. And when you're ready, slowly start to roll back onto our back. Point toes up towards ceiling. Grabbing behind calf or thigh, just not your knee. And roll ankle inward. Roll ankle outward. We'll bend that knee toward our torso or armpit, wherever, holding onto whatever feels comfortable in this position. I like to hold on to the inside of my foot. Maybe feel better holding on to the outside of your foot or your calf or thigh or ankle or best friend. Who knows? If it feels good here, you can try to extend through that leg. Maybe noticing sometimes you have a happy leg, sometimes you have a not so happy leg. This is my happy leg. Yeehaw. Today anyway. And slowly pull that leg back into your chest. And we're going to bring that right knee up to meet. We're going to point those knees up toward the ceiling, resting palms on top. And draw little circles on the ceiling with your knees. And we'll reverse those circles. Good. Pulling those knees into the chest, giving yourself one last hug. We're going to rock over to the side and slowly come up to a seated position. So slowly, I kind of popped up there, but that's because I want to show you where we're going. We're going to reach those feet out in front of us. Inhale, fingertips up towards ceiling. Taking a nice deep breath in before folding forward, reaching toward our feet, ankles, shins, earlobes. Again, whatever feels good to hold on to. Trying to breathe here. So we're going to use our breath to get a little bit deeper into our stretched position. So we've been playing around with the difference between a straight spine and a curved spine in our stretches. So what I want you to do, bear with me, it's kind of fun, try it out, is we're going to straighten our spine as we inhale, and then you're going to curve through the spine as you exhale. We're going to use our breath to get a little bit deeper into our stretch. And so I'm going to turn to the side so you can see this as we do this. So the goal here is that as we get a little bit lower, we're going to try to keep our low back where it is as we inhale. So all together here, we're going to inhale, straighten through the spine, and exhale, curve and release. Now trying to stay close to here, we're going to inhale, straighten the spine, and curve and release. Inhale, straighten through the spine. And exhale, release. And inhale, straighten through the spine. And exhale, release. Good. One more. Inhale, straighten through the spine. And exhale, release. Holding here for just a moment. You're slowly going to walk those hands back up the legs. Lift your fingertips up toward the sky. Good. From here, going to bring our right foot crossing over and holding onto that leg, taking a nice big twist, trying to look behind us. If this feels good, you can always try to hook your left elbow to the inside of that thigh, deepening your twist. And slowly untwisting. And extending that foot out or into the other side. So bringing the left foot across and reaching, twisting back behind. Again, if it feels good, you can always try to hook the right elbow and deepen that twist. And slowly untwisting and releasing that leg. Maybe wiggle those legs out. Last stretch here. Maybe super Gumbies. Got the Gumby pants on today. Might as well, right? So sitting here, those legs in a nice wide second. I like to do this with my heels or feet flexed because I like to try to keep my hamstrings activated as I'm stretching them in this position. Largely because I have really finicky hamstrings. I don't know if you do too, but this helps to kind of keep everything activated so that way you're less likely to overstretch and potentially pull or traumatize your hamstrings. Yes, you can traumatize your muscles and then they will never let it go and they get really angry with you all the time. I'm speaking from experience. So we're sitting up nice and tall with those legs out to the side, knees are pointing upward. We're going to inhale and reach that arm up and over as we exhale and release. Big side body stretch, similar to what we did earlier, standing. From here, you're going to inhale, and we're going to turn our torso toward our leg, and exhale, release. Knees going to reach down, or nose is going to reach down toward your knee or your shin. So hanging here. A common misconception is that you can just kind of do a quick stretch and be done. It actually takes at least 45 seconds for your muscles to release enough to give any kind of a stretch. And so if you want to gain flexibility, you have to hold stretches for longer than 45 seconds, which can be kind of a challenge for a lot of people, myself included, because 45 seconds feels kind of like forever. We're slowly going to inhale, reaching those fingertips up toward the sky. And as we exhale, going over to the other side, keeping chest facing forward. Good, and we're going to inhale, turning torso toward the leg, and exhale, extending our nose toward our knee or shin. And again, holding here for about 45 seconds, which may just seem like ages. It's okay, it's good for us. And slowly inhale, bringing those fingertips up toward the sky. And we're going to slowly exhale and walk those hands forward, keeping our spine nice and straight. So if you are struggling with keeping your spine straight, I want you to check in with your sits bones. If you're not, then stay down there, but check in with your sits bones. So remember, your hips are like a bowl, like a punch bowl. Is your punch bowl pouring out to the back, or is it pouring out to the front? So if your punch bowl is pouring out to the back, I want your hands back behind you, and your goal is to try to level your punch bowl. Okay, so if you are starting here and punch bowl is nice and level, then your goal is to try to pour the punch bowl forward. And so that's how you can walk those hands forward. However, that's why you got to check in with your hips though, because if your punch bowl is turning backward and you try to walk those hands in, you're going to feel a really great stretch in your upper thoracic spine here, but not so much where we need it. So that's why walking hands forward, if your punch bowl is already kind of tilting forward, punch bowl's tilting back, I want those hands back behind you, pressing forward. All right, so wherever you are, we're going to hold this for just a few more moments, because maybe you were trying to figure out which direction your punch bowl was pouring. And again, you got to make sure that we get that full 45 seconds or longer. This is a really great position if you are trying to gain flexibility in this position to sit and watch TV, and then just slowly, come up and then scooch forward a little bit more and then walk. And it's a good habit to get into if you would like to, build your flexibility. And we're slowly going to walk those hands backward. Bring those legs together-ish, wiggle them out. We're gonna bring those heels back underneath us. And in whatever graceful or non-graceful fashion that we can think of, we're going to press ourselves back up into our yoga squat. And maybe notice that there is a major difference in how your hips feel now that we've stretched out. Maybe this is a little bit more accessible of a position for you with some stretching beforehand. So keeping those heels nice and tight to the ground, we're going to press our hands into the ground and slowly lean forward, lift and hips up toward the sky. We're going to heel toe those feet underneath your body. So toes are pointing forward in a nice parallel position. We're going to bend those knees, coming into a nice little ragdoll. Maybe nod your head yes, shake your head no. One more time, nod your head yes, and shake your head no, releasing any tension in your neck. And we're slowly going to roll on up one vertebrae at a time to standing, nice and slow. Inhale those arms up. And exhale those arms down. Thank you all so much for rocking the bar with me today. And my name's Tara, and I had so much fun working out with all of you. So thanks and have a great rest of your day.